Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tyler's Tiger Talk. So yes, I've been away for a while. I mentioned in my tweet and in my Facebook post that I have been away for a while. I've been sick with the flu, like Harold Perkins, but different from him. The flu put me in the bed for a week, and I wasn't able to move around until like Friday, until like yesterday, and I'm finally back on my feet. I'm able to record again. I was able to watch the game today, even though it wasn't the best game to watch, especially with the headache. I still have a headache, so it was really hard to watch that game because it really wasn't fun to watch. Plus, looking at a screen just freaking was hurting my eyes. But I'm almost back to 100%. Feeling a lot better, and I'll tell you what, whatever I had, what strain of the flu I had, that just it put me to bed, high fever, everything. But I'm feeling great, so I can't complain anymore. But yeah, so the huge the I'll take being sick for an Alabama win. But the sucky thing about it is I wasn't able to make any videos on it. I made like a video on the way home, driving on the way home a few hours after the game, and I just never uploaded it. I was gonna make a regular video on that Sunday and then upload that video, but I got sick and I never got to upload it, and I might upload that. But this video really won't be focusing on Arkansas or anything. But since the game happened today, I'm gonna touch on it a little bit. I just have to. Um, it was a really slow, sloppy game. You go up to Fayetteville, Arkansas. So you are going up north. It's a little chillier there. Uh, as you see, they were scraping the snow off the field this morning. So they've never this LSU team has not played in a cold environment yet. It's been warm every single game. Um, your lowest game probably was in like the 60s or so. So you haven't had a game like that to where it was that cold and windy, and I heard it was pretty cold up there. So it's a new environment. I felt like the offense was almost trying to just like rip off a band-aid. Like, let's just get this over with. Like this, we beat Alabama. We're done. Um, and and which is not true. You're not done. You still have after this game two games to play. And you shouldn't really go on for the rest of the season like, okay, we beat Alabama. That's all we need to do. We're done. Because you still have to beat UAB, which is obviously going to be a win. And you still have to beat Texas A&M, who can potentially sneak up on you, kind of like Arkansas did. Um, so you got to be careful for that. You can't just go about these games saying, okay, let's just get this over with. And that's kind of what the offense looked like. There was no really scheme I saw today that impressed me where the wide receivers were doing any complicated things to throw off the defense to get so Jaden Daniels can get it to his guys. There just didn't seem to be any of that. It seemed to be like a more of a run pro offense today, and just trying to get rid of the game. It didn't look like the LSU we've seen the past 3 weeks, at least on offense. The defense was incredible. If the defense plays like that against Georgia, like you have a potential win if your offense comes to par. Defense was incredible. Harold Perkins, I've said it since the moment he touched the field. He needs to be on the field more. Good thing about podcast versus other people saying it is I have concrete evidence, video proof of me saying it. I said it for the Alabama game. I said if Harold Perkins is out there on the field against Alabama against Bryce Young, if he beats his defender, if he beats the guy blocking him, and it's just him and Bryce Young, he's gonna get to Bryce Young. And look, I was right. I said it my last video before the Alabama game. I said if Harold Perkins, it's just him and Bryce Young in open grass, he's gonna get him, and he did, and he did it to what was it, Hornsby, the quarterback's name today, and they threw in another guy too. towards the end. I forgot his name. I'm not gonna worry about that. But just Hornsby, number 4. He was a track star. Like, he's a track star. He runs track, and he's one of the fastest people in college football right now. And Perkins was just tracking him down like a heat-seek missile. He was just there, and it was fun to watch. It was that game for defense was more fun to watch when LSU was on defense than when they were on offense. It was just, you knew somehow, some way Harold Perkins was going to be there, and you saw that he had 8 tackles, 6 solo tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 2 what was it? 2 forced fumbles. I'm probably missing another stat that something he did, but just incredible, just an incredible effort. The dude had the flu, like me. He threw up before the game. But all in all, LSU got it done, so it's a win. I'm glad they won. I'm gonna touch on that game more, but I just wanted to make a video, about a 25-minute video, kind of just explaining everything, because it sucked that I was sick, because that gets rid of 2 videos I could have made, especially the videos on Bama would have been fun to make. It was such a fun game, from the experience to the game to being on the field after the game. It was incredible. The best game I've ever been to. I've been to the national. I went to the national championship in 2019, and that was an incredible game. But in the end, LSU kind of you knew they were gonna win, because that team was just so good, and they ended up I forget the score, but they beat Clemson pretty bad in the end, and ran home with that. I went to the Peach Bowl in Oklahoma, and that was a fun. I'm not gonna say that was a really good game, because you saw what LSU did to Oklahoma, but it was a fun game. It was fun to be in Atlanta, and that was my first game I actually traveled. I've never been to an away game before. As I get older, I hope to go to more, but so that was like my first away game, if you want to call it, even though I'm pretty sure that's like kind of a neutral ground game. Like my first travel game. But I've been to those type of games. I went to the Georgia game in 2018, when we beat Georgia and stormed the field. I stormed the field that year too. So I've had those memories, and I've had good games, and I've been to a lot of other really good games. But this was just the best game I've ever been to. And I don't think I've ever been to an Alabama LSU game that LSU has won. If I can think of. Yeah, I don't think, because an Alabama game is like a treat. It's almost like a present to get to go to, because the tickets are so expensive. So when you're a kid, you get last dibs on any ticket there is. So I didn't really go to a lot of Alabama games growing up, because it was just obviously super expensive. But I don't think I'm ever gonna miss one. I don't think I'm ever gonna miss another Alabama game in my life. As far as home games, at least home games. I'd love to go to some Alabama away games, especially next year. That would be a good one to go to. But yeah, but it was just an incredible experience. Close game all the way. At times, you thought LSU was kind of gonna escape with it in the game, but it got, and there was some complaints, and they kind of it ended up dying out quickly, because there was people complaining about calls who didn't even watch the game or even weren't at the game. LSU got the bat in the stick as far as calls, and there was, those Alabama fans complaining about this and that, and even some people who weren't even Alabama fans were saying there was bad calls for Alabama. It wasn't true. There was so many bad calls for LSU. I remember vividly, still in my mind, Harold Perkins almost sacking Bryce Young, and then Bryce Young throwing a touchdown. I can't remember if he threw a touchdown or got a touchdown the next play, but either way, Harold Perkins had him, and it was a easily holding call. They didn't call it, and there was calls like that throughout the whole game with Alabama that every now and then LSU would get a call, but most of the time it was Alabama that were getting the best calls out of all of it. So, people are like, oh, well, LSU only escaped with Alabama in overtime, but there was potential plays if they would have called them, LSU would have won by a touchdown. But LSU won, so that's that. I'm just glad they won. It's not like we lost, and I'm complaining about the calls that we lost. We won. The game's over. Amazing game. You knew there was people lining up before the game was even over. So when the Bryce Young got the ball back with 1:47, and there was Alabama fans, like there was a couple Alabama fans in our student section, and they were leaving, and I was like, I had to ask them, I was like, where the hell are you guys going? I'm like, you realize that your team has one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, and you guys have 1:47 left. I'm like, where are you guys going? And they're like, we just don't want to get hurt or whatever, or stomped over, and little did you know, Alabama went down the field and scored a field goal. So and barely made that field goal. That was a close one. There was for about 1 or 2 seconds, the stadium got a little bit loud because we thought he missed it and making it. But that was a close one. And then I'll tell you what, when Jaden Manuels made that touchdown and that 2-point conversion, it was loud. It was so loud. And I think that's why I got so easily sick, because I was mentally exhausted just from watching the game. That was a stressful ass game. I was mentally exhausted and just physically exhausted from being out there early. It was just an exhausting experience mentally and physically, and I think that's part of the reason I got sick. And I had this freaking thick jacket on. It was my lucky jacket, and freaking just pouring sweat. I have videos I might even upload to my YouTube. But I was just pouring sweat, and it was fun though. I was with my buddies and we had a good time, and it took a little bit to get on the field. It took a few minutes. And then once you got on the field, you were freaking chest to chest with each person lined up to you, and there was I actually ran into a recruit. I got his name. It's I forget his name. I wrote it down somewhere. I'll go find that. But it was a recruit, and I asked him. I was like, he was like, I gotta get back to the recruiting room. And I asked him, I go, so you going to LSU now? And he's like, shit, maybe. And and I was like, that's a game where if you're a recruit, you're like, maybe I'm gonna come here. And it just an incredible game to watch. It was so much fun. That's a game that you're gonna remember for years, and I'm glad LSU got to LSU and Alabama got to make that memory, because it was an incredible game. I'm definitely gonna remember it till the day I die. But yeah, incredible game. And Jaden Daniels just did so well in that game, and same with Harold Perkins. They're like they've been the MVP on offense and defense. But Arkansas's defense today just ate up, and they gave LSU's offense a lot of different looks, but still covering the same, and it killed Jaden Daniels. He looked like a, what am I trying to say? I don't know. It looked like he was in a different environment, like he wasn't used to, and he kind of reversed and went back to his old self, and shoot, what am I trying to say? He very protective against the ball, especially once he threw that interception in the beginning of the game. He seemed very protective, very nervous, just kind of like a picture of his own self. And I said it for the Alabama game. I said I said, yes, we've had 2 straight weeks. This was before the Alabama game. I said, yes, we've had 2 straight weeks of good Jane Daniels, but you never know. He could go backwards. He didn't go backwards for the Alabama game, and I had more confidence. I'm like, okay, got to go forward from here, and he kind of went backwards today. You might be able to blame it on the weather a little bit, but besides that, I mean, he needs to play with more intensity and more aggression like he has been for these next couple games, especially if you think about beating Georgia. And here I am. I can't speak today. I haven't done a video like this in forever, so excuse me. I'm gonna get a little tongue tied. I haven't warmed up in a while, and it's been over a week. But if you look at Georgia and you put yourself in the Georgia versus LSU, this is where I'm at on this. LSU's defense is a very, very good, and they've shown you that. Tennessee's defense isn't. A lot of teams that played Georgia so far do not have a good defense. LSU does have a good defense, especially now with Harold Perkins. You've seen it. LSU's defense is dominant. That's where you win right there with that defense, because it's going to be a battle of defenses. Whose defense is better? Whose defense can stop more? And going to be, can your offense get some points on the board? And that's what LSU is going to need to do. I think this Georgia LSU game is going to be closer than people think, especially after this. People are going to judge LSU Arkansas, and they're going to judge it a little too much. But I'm telling you, LSU's defense is incredible, and I think they'll play with the grit that they did against Alabama, against Georgia. I don't think it's going to be like how we played against Arkansas. LSU's offense just did not look good against Arkansas. This obviously, clearly, just did not look good against Arkansas. It was a rough day for Jaden Daniels and the wide receivers. I think we just said let's run the ball and let's get rid of let's get this game over with, and that's what they did. And wasn't pretty to watch, wasn't pretty to see, but it's what happened. And you got the dub, but you have to play with the intensity you've been playing with against UAB, against Texas A&M, and then against Georgia. And I believe our defense can surely stop Georgia's offense. Stetson Bennett is not fast. He's not he's a little agile. Like he's not slow, but he's not Bryce Young. He's not Hornsby. So I promise you, if Harold Perkins gets to him, he's gonna feast. And if it's not Harold Perkins, it could be Ojulari, it could be Gay, it could be one of them, and they're gonna feast. But LSU's offense just needs to play with the intensity that they've been playing with against Alabama, Florida, and Ole Miss. And the only way to see that is not against UAB, but against Texas A&M. Because even though Texas A&M has struggled, they haven't looked like an SEC team. They've looked very sloppy. I think they're good enough that if LSU gets it going on offense against them, that shows you, okay, we can go into Atlanta. And this is again that's why it kind of sucks at being Atlanta, because this is Georgia's home turf pretty much. Even though they're not going to classify it as a home game for them, this is their home field. So they got that advantage, but and I really want to go. I've been thinking about going. The tickets are just so much right now, and I don't get my I don't have my money until the beginning of December for school, so I'm like, I don't even want to try to pay for that. So I'll wait. I'll be patient. Hey, maybe we'll go to the national championship and I'll save up for that. So but yeah, LSU could definitely beat Georgia with how LSU's defense has been playing. Georgia has a really good defense, so it's gonna be hard to score on them. But it's been hard for LSU to score on a lot of people so far, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, again, I'm gonna try to keep this video maybe a few more minutes, but just didn't look pretty today. Josh Williams got it done today, running the ball. Him and John Emery and Noah Kane, to a certain extent, they just got it done. Thank God for them for good running backs, because that would have been not a fun game to watch if your running backs didn't run out the clock and get those crucial first downs, because it was just not there in the passing game. I don't have the stats with me right now, and I'll go back on another video. I'll either record tomorrow or Monday on LSU Arkansas and be more in depth. But yes, did not look like the LSU team from the past few weeks. So don't judge them on this game. The LSU will be back. They've shown you that they can be resilient. And even when Jaden Daniels, threw the interception or fumbled the ball, he still had a smile on his face and kept confident. So I know he'll be back. He'll be back. I think this was you're coming off a really exciting win at home, and you kind of let that if you want to call it a trap game, you kind of let that Arkansas come and punch you in the mouth and spook you out a little bit. But you got it done. So win's a win, no matter how it was. But yeah, so that was my Alabama experience and Arkansas experience. I just kind of wanted to merge those in two. But yeah, I'm back. I'm healthy. I'm feeling a lot better. Good to be back. I love making these videos. I'm gonna try to again make my 2 videos a week. And you got 2 more games. You got UAB this week, and then you got Texas A&M, and then you're off to the SEC championship, which is exciting. Thank God Alabama lost Ole Miss for a second. I thought Ole Miss was gonna run away with it, and they could have. They were leading at almost, from what I was watching, they were leading at every point of the game, and I stopped watching it because my head was just killing me. I was like, I need to take a nap, and that's what I did. But it was a pretty good game for a while, and Alabama escaped with it. And I saw earlier on a tweet, on 4th and 8, an Alabama player shoved the quarterback's head into the ground. The refs didn't see it, so they didn't call it. But that would have been an instant first down in Alabama territory. I think the ball would have been on the 30 or something, and potential for Ole Miss to score and win the game, and that would have not been good. But Ole Miss loses, so LSU clinches the West. Thank the Lord. Like I said, I thought about going. If something pops up and I get to go, I get to go. But as of now, I'm not going to the SEC championship. But if I find a way, I might go. That should be an exciting game. I think people are kind of underestimating right now. Like, LSU's gonna get blown out. The defense is what's working for you right now. So have hope in your defense. I think they're gonna keep Georgia to definitely minimum. I thought even though this game's weeks and weeks away, it's November 12th right now, and the game's not till December 3rd. So almost a month from now. 30 weeks to a month. I find Georgia's probably going to start off a little strong, and then LSU's defense is going to tame it down a little bit. So it's going to be a close game. And Harold Perkins, like again, he's just a different animal. He's a beast, and you have him for at least another year, because you have to play 2 years at least, and then if he wants to stay, he wants to stay. But if I were him, I would just go to the draft. He's gonna be a first round. He could be a first round draft pick, probably this year. He's that damn good. If he wanted to, he's an insane player. He's all over the field. He was tracing down Hornsby like an animal, like a freaking lion and a gazelle. I mean, he was just there. So that was fun to watch. That was one of those games where it's like, why am I enjoying defense more than offense? But that's what happened. Um, I'm trying to think if I wanted to say anything else about the game. No, I'm gonna save the rest for later. But yeah, Alabama game, like I said, was crazy. Like I'm trying to think. I went in the game at 4. The game started at 6, and it was packed at 4. Like it was crazy. I had to wait in an extra long line. Went and sat down with friends, and it was just crazy. And then you get that anticipation for the start of the game, and it started off slow, but it was a great game, and it was fun to see Jane Daniels keep going. He's just incredible. Him and Harold Perkins are definitely like that that duo. You got him on Harold Perkins on defense, Jane Daniels on offense, and they're definitely your two best players on the team. But that 2 point conversion, oh my gosh! Like every time I think about it, every time I pop it in mind, when I'm scrolling through YouTube or TikTok or whatever, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I always see it, and it gets me every time. It's like instant chills because I think about it, and it was just eruptive. Like it was a good game to be at, and thankful to go. Trying to think about if any plays I remember that were just crazy too. Um, I'm trying to think. There was never. I don't remember any like too crazy plays for LSU besides on defense. Um, but yeah, it was an incredible game, and I'm not gonna. Since it's already over, and you've heard all about LSU Alabama already for the past week. I'm not gonna go into it anymore. That'll probably be my whole spill on LSU Alabama. But again, like just the best environment to be in, and the build up was great, and you were just exhausted by the end of the game from watching. It was so stressful, but well worth it at the end. So that's my video for today. Again, I'm glad to be back. Please like the video. There's a bell you can ring to. It tells you when I'm uploaded. Um, like the video, subscribe, share, anything that helps me out. All that. If you want to leave me a comment, ask a question, or even a statement, whatever, and I'll gladly answer those. But yeah, that's my video for today. Glad to be back. I'm glad to not be sick. Hopefully, Harold Perkins gets to feeling better um, by the end of the week. But yeah, I mean, a dog, just a freaking animal playing on that field. Um, just crazy. So again, thank you for watching, and as always, go Tigers.